Grand Rising Galactic Jedis, Freedom Fighters, Patriots, how are you all doing today? On the 20th of March 2024, we are steadily on a positive timeline trajectory. So I decided to wait another day to go live due to the fact that I was up for hours last night going through the JFK documents, and boy, there was over 80,000 pages. So it's, some of the stuff is hard to read because it's chicken scratch, stuff that was signed back in the 60s, 1960s. So I had to like really use my intuition to actually get to the information. So yes, it's a lot of information and you have to have patience. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to just cover and give you guys a summary of a lot of the important information that was leaked in those files and those documents. And also, I'm going to give you guys a geopolitical update regarding the ceasefire due to a meeting that took place over the phone between Russia and, of course, Putin and Mr. T. So I'm going to start with the JFK summary, and then I'm going to go into what's happening with the war in Europe. Now, for those that don't know me, my name is Ishmael Perez. I am the author of these books called The Secret Government. I forget, I'm not home right now, obviously, so I can't really say the books back there. So I'm the author of The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, and of course, Our Cosmic Origin, both which reveal the true suppressed history of our world and restoring the galactic history back to the earth. Now, I do want to welcome all my new viewers. Thank you guys so much for being here. And for those that are just jumping on, the reason I didn't go live last night, yes, normally I do go live on Wednesday nights, is because I was up till 2 a.m. in the morning yesterday going through all the classified information, all the JFK files and they didn't even release the files till after 6 p.m., by the way. So I was waiting all day to access the 2025 files, and boy, did I discover some good information. Now, again, it's very tricky. A lot of these files, you have to really skip a lot of pages to get to the juicy part. So I was able to do that, and now I'm going to share it with you guys. I do want to welcome everybody that's in the house. Thank you guys so much for being there, and I also want to thank everyone that is going to watch this on the replay. Now, I guess I could get right into the intel. As a reminder, also, I will be at the Alien Event Biomedic Conference April 4th, 5th, and 6th in LA at the Sonosta Hotel. So I hope to meet some of you guys there. And anything else that I might want to share, I think that's it. All right, cool. So let's get started. All right, let's get started. So there was apparently 80,000 classified JFK documents, like I mentioned, that were released yesterday after 6 p.m. All right. So, and this was, as part of Trump's relentless assault on the deep state secrecy. This is the first initial, endeavor, you could say, in the revelation of more coming disclosures. Okay. So his administration is preparing or was prepared to release 80,000 previously classified JFK assassination files yesterday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time, with zero redactions. Okay. So, I guess the biggest question is, why did three former presidents and even Mike Pompeo try to keep these documents a secret? Well, the answer is terrifying, guys. The answer is terrifying. I hope you guys share this live with as many people as possible because it's going to get really, really good. Okay. So the JFK assassination was not the work of a lone assassin. All right. I remember back in high school sitting in class watching these videos, when they blamed it on Lee Oswald. And then, of course, the next day, Jack Ruby kills him. That was all part of a play, guys. That was all part of the play. So it wasn't that. Okay. And of course, we do know, for those that have read The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, we do know that the JFK assassination was actually a coordinated operation by the deep state, okay, as I will reveal in a little bit. And of course, we know that the three-letter agency, starts with the C, was heavily involved, and that's going to be exposed in a little bit. And then, of course, the links between the JFK cover-up and modern political corruption will also be available. So let's just start with how this isn't just about history, right? This is about justice, okay? I believe that the Kennedy family, who are the descendants of King David, right? And they are genetically tied to Princess Diana and, of course, the Lincolns. Um, and the Trumps. So I believe that this is about bringing the truth to the world, right? The truth that was buried for over 60 years in this now coming to light with the declassification of the JFK files. So the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963 remains one of the most controversial and yet widely deleted events in American history. Over the decades, various theories have emerged, fueled by inconsistencies in the official narrative and government secrecy, of course, surrounding a lot of classified documents, right? The recent release of previously undisclosed records related to Kennedy's assassinations has reignited public interest and provided deeper insights into the documents surrounding his death. These documents reveal significant details about Lee Harvey Oswald, who was a potential foreign involvement and covert government operation that may have played a role, or let's just be real, that played a role in the events leading to the assassination. So let's first talk about Lee Harvey Oswald, who, of course, was the guy, the lone assassin that we were all taught to believe in high school, right? And let's connect it to the intelligence community. Okay, so one of the most striking revelations, right, from the newly released documents is the extent of government surveillance and intelligence interest in Lee Harvey Oswald prior to the assassination. The documents have confirmed that Oswald, a former Marine who defected from the Soviet Union back in 1959 before returning to the United States, was being closely monitored by the CIA, FBI, and other intelligence agencies. Well, this is evidence that Oswald had contacts with Cuban and Soviet officials, raising questions about whether he was acting alone or if he had some external support. Well, moreover, the records include that Oswald visited the Soviet and Cuban embassies in Mexico City weeks before the assassination, when he allegedly met with intelligence officers from both countries. These meetings have fueled speculation that foreign governments might have played a role in influencing or assisting him. The released documents, however, do not provide a definite conclusion, but suggest that intelligence agencies were aware of Oswald's movements and potential affiliation, raising concerns about why he was not apprehended earlier if he posed a legitimate threat. Well, this is starting to sound a lot like the lone assassin that tried to take out President Trump in Pennsylvania. Okay. Well, another critical aspect of the raised files pertains to possible foreign involvement in Kennedy's assassinations. The documents reveal that U.S. intelligence agencies were actively investigating Cuban and Soviet connections to Oswald, particularly in the light of the Cold War terror tensions following the Cuban Missile Crisis. While no conclusive proof of direct foreign orchestration has been found, certain documents indicate that Cuban leader Fidel Castro was aware of U.S. Assassination plots against him, leading some to speculate whether the Kennedy assassination was a retaliatory one, or a retaliatory move, rather. Additionally, there are references to internal communications within the U.S. government regarding the possibility of foreign governments using Oswald as a pawn. However, these discussions were merely speculative and lacked concrete evidence, leaving room for confused debate over whether Cuba or the Soviet Union had a hand in Kennedy's assassination. And as I will uncover in a little bit, they didn't, right? They didn't. So apparently, perhaps the most unsettling revelations in these documents pertains to covert government operations and the suppression of key information. The files show, are you guys ready for this? The files show, take notes if you guys are taking notes, show that the three-letter agencies, one that starts with a C and the other one starts with an F, withheld certain intelligences from the Warren Commission. Well, I'm not surprised, right? The official body tasked with investigating Kennedy assassination. That's what they call the Warren Commission, which was completely set up by the deep state, right? The deliberate withholding of evidence has reinforced claims that elements within the government may have had their own motives for for obfuscating, obfuscating the truth, hiding the truth. Let's just use that word. Some documents also point to a concerted effort to monitor and control public perception of the assassination, including potential involvement in media manipulation to shear the narrative towards the lone gunman theory, right, which is a total BS. Additionally, there is evidence that high-ranking officials, including former CIA Director Richard Helms, were deeply involved in discussions about managing the release of assassination-related information over the years. So these are some of the implications and unanswered questions, okay? So while the release of these documents has provided valuable insight into previously undisclosed aspects of the Kennedy assassination, many questions remain unanswered, right? The continued classification of certain records suggests that there are still sensitive details being withheld from the public, possibly to protect intelligent methods. To protect intelligent methods, foreign relations, or even individuals involved at that time. So the revelations have further fueled skepticism regarding the official explanation that Oswald was alone, all right, or acted alone, which we're going to come to find out that he wasn't. So with the acknowledgement of intelligence agency failures, suppressed information, and potential foreign ties, the likelihood of a broader conspiracy seems more plausible than ever. So the newly released JFK assassination documents that were released last night confirmed long-standing suspicions of government secrecy, intelligent failures, and the possibility of foreign involvement. Okay, they challenge, and what I mean by foreign involvement, we're talking about the secret society networks. We're talking about people that were part of the Council on Foreign Relations, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, the Bilderbergers, the Trilateral Commission, all of which are controlled by the Rothschilds, by the way. And then, of course, for those who read my book, The Secret Government, we all know that the order to eliminate JFK came from the Black Pope himself, the Count Peter Vance Kolvenbeck. So they challenge the simplistic nature that Oswald acted alone and highlight, these are the documents, right? They challenge the simplistic nature that Oswald acted alone and highlight the intricate web of intelligent operations that surrounded the Kennedy presidency. As more documents continue to be declassified, and this is just the beginning, it is believed that they're going to declassify more documents, the hope remains that a clearer picture of what truly transpired on November 22nd, 1963 will emerge. Until then, the Kennedy assassination remains one of the most enduring mysteries of modern history. With these latest revelations only deepening the intrigue and demand for full transparency. Well, here we go. Okay, are you guys ready for this? The unveiling of the JFK documents and the connections to the deep state and how the White Hats are working effortlessly to prevent World War III. All right, let's talk about the documents before I get into the geopolitical scenario. So the long-awaited release of the JFK documents has sent shockwaves across the globe, peeling back the layers of secrecy that have been veiled. One of the most pivotal moments in American history, right? These documents, of which were heavily redacted or suppressed for decades, reveal deep state operations. So it was an inside job, It wasn't the Cubans and it wasn't the Russians. Covert intelligence. So apparently, all the three-letter agencies were involved, and yes, they knew. Okay, activities and hidden structures that played a role in not only JFK's assassination, but also in shaping the modern geopolitical landscape. The revelations expose three-letter agency that starts with the C involvement. Okay, um, shadow government agendas and secret collaborations with global elites, provided that Kennedy was eliminated for his resistance to the military industrial complex, central banking control, and his plans to expose the deep state apparatus. And I believe right before his assassination, in his famous speech, he did warn about the dangers of secret societies, right? So the deep state apparently covered it up, right? This scenario had global implications, right? So the assassination of John F.K. Kennedy, as revealed in 1963, was not an act of a lone gunman, but rather a meticulously orchestrated operation. Again, for those that have read my book, The Secret Government, the order came from the Black Pope, Peter Vance Kovenbach. Okay, involving elements within the three-letter agency that starts with the C, one that starts with the F, who are right now being dismantled as I speak, or at least being reorganized. Another clandestine agencies. Okay, these newly revealed documents provide evidence that Kennedy was actively working against the expansion of the military-industrial complex, right? Advocating for a peaceful resolution to the Cold War, and seeking to dismantle the control that the central banking institutions had over the United States economy. Okay, so Kennedy's move to reign in the Federal Reserve, to ruin and bring down the Federal Reserve, and withdraw the U.S. troops from the Vietnam also threatened powerful financial and military interest. This is the truth, guys, making him a target for elimination. The JFK documents confirm suspicions that key figures within the government not only facilitated the assassination, but also engaged in a prolonged cover up to protect those responsible. Wow. Again, this is the truth, guys. This is what those documents entail. Okay. These revelations have far reaching consequences, demonstrating that the same forces that silenced Kennedy have continued to manipulate global events for decades. So, from orchestrating foreign coups and financial collapses to engineering wars and media narratives, the deep state cabal has maintained its grip on power through secrecy and deception. Well, all right. So, apparently, those 80,000 documents that I guess they're still releasing more, but this is going to be the beginning of of a bigger disclosure. And I believe that the next things that they're going to be disclosing is what happened on September 1st, 2001, or September, I'm sorry, 11, 2001. And you guys know what I'm talking about, right? The Twin Towers. That's also going to be very similar or tied into the same people that orchestrated the assassination of JFK. Now, when that comes to light, guys, when that comes to light, you realize that I know that the original Bushes were already arrested by the White Hats, but the puppets, whatever you want to call them, the clones that are playing them, including Dick Cheney, um, yeah, they're going to be hung. They're going to be taken out immediately when those records come out. So as the truth surfaces, let me move on a little bit now forward. I'm going to move on to a different subject, but yeah, I was up really late last night going through all the documents. Again, you guys have to skip a lot of pages of just information where it's like the police record the time when this happened, some of the things that they confiscated in the cars, just random, ridiculous stuff. You guys have to like really go through the documents. And it took me hours to really get to the point where they did reveal that it was an inside job and that every three-letter agency was involved, including the mafia, by the way. For those who read The Secret Government, again, the mafias is an extension of a secret organization called the Knights of Malta, which is a branch of secret shadow, or a branch of operatives that are connected and tied to the Jesuit order, because at the highest echelons of this powered structure, whatever you want to call it, cabal network, are the Jesuits, right? The Vatican. Okay, let's continue. Now, moving forward to a call that took place between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Now, before I talk about this, I do want to mention that despite the agreement that President Trump and Vladimir Putin had, Zelensky, in desperation to hold on to power, last night it was reported that he actually sent drones to some of their missile facilities and nuclear places. And I guess they've been striking the Russians, since last night, trying to provoke World War III. So, yeah, that wasn't a very good move. That was not a very good move. So, but what really did happen 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? I'm sorry, is that Trump and Putin had a phone call, a 2 hour phone call, and they did agree to ceasefire. Okay. So as the truth surfaces, as you guys know, the White Hats, which is an alliance of military insiders, intelligent patriots, and global leaders dedicating to restoring sovereignty and justice, are working behind the scenes to prevent World War III. Okay. And that's why Trump and Putin needed to get on that 2 hour plus call yesterday, right? Because the White Hats knew that stupid, Zelensky was going to strike. Okay. So the cabal, now concerned, is escalating conflicts worldwide in a desperate attempt to maintain power. So that could have been their way of saying, we're not going to cease fire. Okay. From false flag operations to financial warfare, they are using every tool at their disposal to ignite chaos and distract from the truth. However, the White Hats have strategically countered these war efforts by dismantling hidden power structures, neutralizing rogue elements within governments, and exposing corruption before major conflicts can escalate. Geopolitical tensions, including those involving Russia, China, and the Middle East, are being carefully navigated to prevent the outbreak of a full scale global war. Through advanced intelligence operations, controlled disclosures, and alliances with key military factions worldwide, they are ensuring that humanity is not plunged into another manufactured crisis, initiating the Great Awakening. So, the releasing of the JFK files is the beginning, which marks a major step in the Great Awakening. And again, they're going to be releasing more files, providing that the same forces responsible for his assassination are the same people that have been manipulating all the world events for decades. The people are now seeing the truth about the deep state war machine, the corrupt financial system, and the hidden hand that has been steering global events. And yes, the White Hats are guiding humanity towards a future free from perpetual war, debt, slavery, and controlled narratives. So, by exposing historical lies, dismantling oppressive systems, and fostering global unity, they are ensuring that justice is served and that history no longer repeats itself. Well, this is a fight for truth, freedom, and human sovereignty, right? It has reached a critical turning point. And as more revelations come to light, humanity moves closer to breaking free from the shadows of the past and stepping into an era of peace, transparency, and prosperity. So, in addition to all of this, on a good note, RFK Jr. has vowed to put an end to the crimes of geoengineering, the lines in the skies, right? Has also revealed plans to collaborate with Trump on policy matters, including prosecuting those responsible for the lines in the skies, those chemicals, you guys know what I'm talking about. And quote, he did say, we are going to stop this crime. So it is a crime, right? It is a crime, right? When they spray our skies, they're only doing it for one thing. It's depopulation, right? Why do you think people are constantly getting sick? Anyways. So with everyone else distracted by the Houthi strike, President Trump approves Egypt's plan for Gaza reconstruction. That's another thing that just happened recently, which stipulates that no Gazan will be forcibly expelled, even temporarily, and that Gaza will be governed by a Palestinian community backed by Arab nations. So they're giving back the independency to Gaza, all right, to the Arabian nations, which is a good thing, right? Sky News Arabia has reported, now this is an outside news source outside of the US, has reported that the Trump administration has linked Egypt's reconstruction plan, Hamas removal from Gaza, and the disarmament of the Strip. The plan spans approximately 5 years, and it's estimated to cost over 50 billion. 50 billion. Okay. Now, moreover, going back to the biggest topic that is circulating all over social media, are we on the brink of the Third World War, or did Trump and Putin, come up with a truce? All right. Well, President Trump has concluded a 90-minute phone call with Vladimir Putin, and this took place, I believe, yesterday, where many elements of a peace deal with Ukraine have been agreed to. Okay. A Russian government official stated after the call that under the leadership of President Putin and President Trump, the world has become a much safer place. That's a promising sign, hopefully, right? Well, this is what we call diplomacy in action, right? Two guys working for the same team, opposing globalization. Putin says that Trump can call him anytime and that he is open to talks. Well, this is huge, guys, right? And the positive news for the world. Peace is the way. Okay. President Donald Trump has already spent over 2 hours on a phone call with Vladimir Putin yesterday, surpassing the total time Joe Brandon, engaged with the Russian leader throughout his entire presidency. Putin speaks on restoring Russian-American relations and says that Trump is doing everything possible to reverse the damage caused by the Brandon administration. Putin confirms he had a phone call with Trump and is willing to spare the lives of the surrounded Ukrainian soldiers in Kursk region if they surrender. But they committed crimes against civilians and will be prosecuted as terrorists. So overall, what you should have take from this is that Trump is holding true to his word as the peacemaker and is taking significant steps towards not just ending this conflict, but towards normalizing relations with Russia and permanently ending this Cold War we are in with Russia before it escalates into a full-scale World War III. So Trump's diplomacy is his logo, saving the world, right? Bringing peace to the planet. And again, I've been talking about this for months. If he pulls it off, which looks like he's being very successful, sometime this summer, he will win a Nobel Peace Prize. So just completed, all right, this is coming from President Zelensky, just completed a very good telephone with President Zelensky. I'm sorry, this is coming from President Trump. Just completed a very good telephone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine. It lasted approximately 1 hour. Much of the discussion was based on the call made yesterday with President Putin in order to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. We are very much on track. And quote President Trump, I will ask Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Michael Waltz to give an accurate description of the points discussed. The statement will be put out shortly. All right. Moreover, according to the Yhat source of information, this is now no turning back. All right. On March 18th, which was 2 days ago, the clock struck for the deep state. Right, the most feared call in recent history took place. So I'm sorry. So I guess that call took place 2 days ago. 2 hours and 34 minutes of direct coordination between President Donald J. Trump and Russian Vladimir Putin. And not a simple exchange of diplomatic pleasantries. No, this was a high-level war council, a coordinated takedown briefing between two world leaders who are no longer playing by the script written by globalist overlords. So they did speak to negotiate peace. They spoke to finalize the collapse of the system that's been ruling this planet through war, manipulation, surveillance, and blood for generations. The phone call wasn't about diplomacy. It was about execution, not of people, but of the entire deep state war matrix worldwide. Okay. This was a battlefield transmission. And if you're paying attention, which I think most of you are, you'll see it for what it really was, right? A historic declaration of war against the global elite's final stronghold, which is Ukraine. All right. Well, the ceasefire is a smokescreen. It's the first stage of the deep state's demilitarization, right? Demilitarization, which means the ending of NATO, the ending of the European Union, and ultimately the ending of all deep state puppets. So when Trump proposed an energy and infrastructure ceasefire, most people missed the coded language. But those who understand military strategy know what this really means. Trump and Putin are beginning the forced shutdown of the global war machine's operating systems. So you see, guys, wars aren't just fought with bullets, right? They're sustained by covert logistics, energy monopolies, and all weaponization, quantum surveillance, and digital warfare. All right, this is what they call fifth generational warfare. This ceasefire is not about protecting infrastructure, it's about neutralizing the globalist command nodes. Energy corridors, Black Sea supplies chains, it's about neutralizing these as well. Satellite link routes, clandestine drone hubs, all being brought to a halt under the pretense of diplomacy. This is not just a negotiation, this is a decapitation strike carried out in silence. So at the moment Trump issued the proposal, Putin executed the order. There was no hesitation because they're not adversaries, right? Putin and Trump are on the same team, covertly speaking. They are the alliance. They're partners in a coordinated anti-globalist offensive. And Putin did follow Trump's directive immediately, by the way. The command structure is clear now, okay? So Trump requested a 30-day energy and infrastructure ceasefire. Putin responded positively and gave immediate orders to the Russian military. That's not how world leaders discuss ideas. That's how orders are followed in a joint command operation. The so-called multipolar world theory collapses right there. Trump and Putin are not rivals. They're two operational heads of a silent alliance that has been systematically dismantling the deep state piece by piece since 2017. Everything else has been a noise. Well, what happened in this call is confirmation that this alliance, now fully active, and it's in its final stage. So, what the media won't dare to say out loud is that Trump knew exactly who was trapped in the Kursk region. The Ukrainian servicemen weren't just soldiers, they were NATO intelligence contractors, they were CIA field assets, MI6 instructors, private military units from Blackwater proxies, and deep state sabotage teams operating under Ukrainian badges. When Trump appealed for their lives, it wasn't sentiment, it was a trap. He forced Putin to make it public. The Kremlin acknowledged it openly. Trump intervened to secure their surrender, and Putin guaranteed humane treatment under international law. Well, why such an emphasis? Because what's about to happen is a global unveiling of war crimes and covert operations by the very governments that claim to defend democracy. These soldiers weren't there to protect Ukraine. They were programmed, asset embedded to prolong a manufactured war that has been funneling trillions to secret contractors and intelligence agencies. Well, that's over now. Okay. Trump pulled the curtain and the puppeteers are panicking. And this explains why, in a, you could say, desperate attempt, Zelensky decided to target some of the missile facilities in Russia, okay, with drones last night. This happened last night, but I don't think Russia is going to retaliate. Okay, Trump is apparently demanding an end to foreign intel support, which was the globalist supply chains for many years. So the Kremlin didn't hold back. It directed stated It directly stated that foreign military aid and intelligence flow into Kyiv must end immediately, not decrease, but end immediately. All right. This is Trump's kill switch moment. He's shutting down the covert arms pipeline, the surveillance nodes, the bio research centers disguised as embassies, and the encrypted data sharing programs between Western spy networks and Ukraine field ops. The entire grid is being terminated, and anyone still participating in it is now on notice, right? Your operations are being tracked, your communications are logged, your assets are marked. He's letting the globalists know that. The quantum communication networks being deployed by Trump's military functions include Starlink nodes, zero latent satellite chains, electromagnetic jamming protocols are already severing the deep state's last lines of defense. The agreement to begin negotiations over the Black Sea. That's not about shipping security. That's about seizing maritime dominance from NATO. Trump and Putin just restructured the Black Sea corridors to isolate NATO's secret naval movements, cut off arms transport disguised as humanitarian missions, and block submarine intelligent operations used by the UK and US military industrial complex. This will end the maritime shadow war that has been raging quietly under the surface, from stealth submarines running illegal cargo to underwater drone warfare programs operated by Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. And that's done now, right? This is what we call the ending of the military industrial complex. Trump's forces are already in motion, and the next phase will be a military exposure of what's really what's really been moving in and out of those ports for years, right? We all know what's been moving in and out of those ports for years. Little ones, right? Human cargo, bioweapons, and of course, exotic tech and classified payloads classified payloads that were never meant to see the light of day. Another overlooked part of the call that President Trump and President Putin had was that both leaders agreed that Iran must never destroy Israel. Okay, that's not a threat, it is a public clue. Trump and Putin are now laying the foundation for dismantling the last few chess pieces that the elites have left in the Middle East. So Iran, like Ukraine, has been used by the deep state as both a scapegoat and a catalyst. And Israel has been both a target and a pawn. Trump and Putin know the game is over for the globalist. What they're signaling is this: no more proxy detonations. The cabal doesn't get to start another false flag war in the region to distract from their collapse in Europe. The so-called expert groups being formed between the US and Russia, those aren't diplomats. They're intelligence data miners, tribunal architects, and evidence curators. Their task is simple: prepare the files. This is the administrative back of the global exposure operation. So we're going to be expecting a lot of leaks very, very soon, expecting a lot of documentation to come out. Expect a lot of names to be thrown under the rug, a lot of exposures of people that were involved. These groups will start revealing who signed the contracts, who funneled the money. And I believe a lot of this is tied with the laptop of hell, if you guys know what I'm talking about, the Brandon crime family, who oversaw the little one transferring routes, right, at the ports, under military training zones, and which NGOs laundered the funds. So the contract for peace that Trump and Putin are negotiating in the last couple of days is code for post-deep state world government. It's done. The NWO is done. Trump's phrase, contract for peace, is not about treaties. It's a symbolic declaration that the old contracts with the Rothschilds brokered war doctrines, the CFR, drafted defense mandates. The CFR was the US version of the Royal Institute of International Affairs. It was established in believe it was 1921, right after the Royal Institute of International Affairs was established in 1918. Those are deep state, we could say covert agencies that are working with, of course, the black nobility of Europe, which is dominated by the Rothschild family. So the CFR drafted defense, the mandates, and the NATO expansion deals are being nullified. New contracts are being written, contracts that will replace war with sovereignty, surveillance states with national militias, pharmaceutical slavery with quantum healing modalities, and media indoctrination with secured, transparent communication channels. And this is the real reset. It is underway. And yeah, this is really good. This is really good news, guys. This is really good news. Um, we are actually at the precipice of some massive revelations that are about to hit the fan very, very soon. And again, for those that are trying to read some of those documentations that were released yesterday at 6 o'clock p.m., 9 o'clock Eastern time, you have to forward. I mean, there's thousands of documents. You have to use your intuition to actually forward a lot of those pages to get to the juicy information, where again it tells you the truth that it was an inside job, right? The elimination of JFK was not a lone assassin operation, was not an external thing. It was orchestrated by the deep state, all right? And it's all revealed in those documents. Now, I do want to give some people a shout out. Again, let's see who is in the house. Starlight is in the house. Jill Hunt is in the house. New York is in the house. Who else is in the house? Andromeda Daisy. Wolf Mother is in the house. I'm actually using my laptop, so I'm not. It's not connected to my monitor where everything is huge, so I have to like really get close to read the names. Um, let's see. It's very hard for me to read. I might have to just take Q&A on my phone because yeah, I'm not using my monitor today. And I want to welcome all 1,832 people that are in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take Q&A from my phone because it's very hard to read the screen. Everything is so little here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the hearts. I appreciate the hearts. Thank you guys. Thank you. All right, so let's get to the Q&A. Oh, it says that I'm going live right here. All right, let's get to Q&A. I could read it much better on my phone. All right, let's see who is here. Rodney Loesch is here. Who else is here? Debbie DeFranco is here. Starlight, Jill Hunt, Amanda Tempori, Jeffrey Unlimited, Cosmic Zeal, Conspiratary, Josephine Lynch, Paul Len. Who else is in the house? A lot of people are in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. All right, so this is where I take some questions. This is where I take some questions. You know, Brian Chapman is asking me if we are in 5D. Well, physically, no, but consciously, some of us are already operating in the 5D earth. Yes. But like the prophecies indicated, first we have to advance mentally before our body follows. Okay. So, for those that are consciously already in the 5D earth, your body's probably going to be following in the next few weeks when a huge CME hits the earth. All right. I've already mentioned before that there's going to be 3 solar flashes initiating 3 activations, right? The third one is going to activate all the good people of the earth into a better society, a better world. So the first one's going to be happening sometime this April, maybe the first couple of weeks of April. And every source is confirming that. So we'll see what happens. I see Isis giving a super chat. Thank you so much, sister. Shout out to Isis. She says, "Hey, Ishmael and family, can we pray for me right now? Health emergency, too much caffeine, heart." All right, Isis, we send you love and light, and I hope your heart feels better. Maybe you should just stay away from the caffeine for a long time. People that take too much caffeine, it does affect the heart, by the way. It does affect the heart. So I would probably uh, stay off the caffeine. And yeah, so love and light to your heart. Okay, love and light to your heart. Let's see. Wolf Mother says, "I'm ready. The sun is charging up." Not only is the sun charging up, guys, but the entire solar system is charging. All right, recent solar reports have indicated that the jovial planets, not Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, are also heating up. Okay, so that means that the entire solar system is about to emerge in the photon belt. So everything's ramping up right now. All right, conspiratory saying that tomorrow, the 21st, she's hearing that stuff could be happening. Yeah, if I were you guys, I would go to the grocery store tonight, stock up on food for the next couple of weeks because anything could go down. Anything could go down, especially with what's going on with Zelensky being a weasel and trying to strike Russia last night. I mean, what kind of a move is that? It kind of reminds me of that kid in high school who's like a bully and just takes a cheap shot without really facing the guy. He hits him from behind. That's what that reminds me of. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Is all this disclosure a precursor to the EBS? Says Ellie Anthony. That could be the case. That could be the case. Um, I guess we're all going to find out. Oh, and by the way, guys, some of the people have been asking me if they could support my cause. People want to donate to me. I actually put a link for those that have Zelle. If you guys want to support my mission and my cause, I did put a link in the description of my YouTube channel. So if you go to the overall description of my YouTube channel, um, the homepage, there is where it says about me. At the end of that, you have a link to my Zelle, which is through my email. So, for those that want to support my mission, I do take Zelle. Okay. Thank you guys for those that want to support my mission. Thank you in advance. All right. So let's continue here. Ishmael, tomorrow, the 21st, I hear stuff's happening. I've already mentioned that. I've already read that. Could be. It's best to be prepared, not only physically, but it's also good to be grounded, guys. It's also good to be in a high frequency vibration, drinking a lot of herbal teas that are good for you and water. Let's continue. Um, yes, I see a lot of people that are sending Isis prayers for her heart. Hang in there, Isis. If you're having heart problems, hang in there. Like it could also be ascension symptoms. It could also be ascension symptoms. Last night we had a huge blast, right? I don't know if you guys are keeping track with the CMEs, but some people are just lethargic. They just do not want to get out of bed. They sleep all night and just want to be in bed all day. And then some, it's the opposite of that. Some they wake up every hour, or they wake up at 3, they can go back to sleep, and then they're full of energy for the entire day. And then there's no in between. So again, go figure. Something huge is about to happen. Any news on med beds? Signs are, oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of scammers out there that are going to be promoting med beds for a price. Stay away from that, because for those that are aware of the truth of the matter, the med bids are going to be for free. Okay, the med bids are going to be for free when they do roll out. They're going to be for free. You don't have to have insurance, and you definitely don't have to give money to get into a med bed. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there because a lot of people are still asking me if you have to pay for a med bed, and the answer is no. Right? Don't fall for those imposters. I'm looking for questions, guys. Do you guys, if you guys type your questions in capital letters, that would be greatly appreciated. And I am answering questions from my iPhone where I have the chat. It's actually a lot easier for me to read it here than on my laptop here. Rodney Losh says, you rock, Ishmael. Thank you, Rodney, for that compliment. You guys are just conversing among yourselves, which is a good thing, but I want to take some questions. Okay, when will the doctors know about the med beds? A lot of the doctors are already being informed in private about the med beds because they're about to launch them very, very soon. And I think that corresponds with the EBS and the disclosure. So, because part of the disclosure is revealing the truth about these modalities that exist within the private sector. Yes, it's for those that are addicted to caffeine or can't stop drinking coffee because it's fake energy, by the way, because the crash is worse when you think about it. I would strongly suggest to switch over to cordyceps, lion's mane, reishi mushrooms, adaptogens. I would start drinking mushroom coffee. That's a lot healthier than coffee. Talk about who are the good guys, like White Hats and White Dragon. This is a question from Firewolf. Again, because of the fact that I have a lot of new subscribers on a daily basis. I get at least 300 subscribers on a daily basis. Some of these subscribers are barely getting their feet wet when it comes to being awakened and learning about all this stuff. So the White Hats are not just a modern day organization that opposes the NWO or the globalists, right? They have been around for a long time. Like I revealed in the book, The Secret Government, you could actually trace the White Hats all the way to King David, Solomon, and even before them, Abraham, Jacob, the 12 tribes, the original tribes of Israel, not the fake Jews of today. And technically, you could trace them all the way back to Shem. So they go back to the flood. And if you want to be technical, the Whiteheads have always been here, right? The forces of light have always been here, counteracting the forces of darkness. Now, the White Dragon Society pertains to the Chinese elders, and they are also the good guys. And I do believe that the White Dragon Society is also working with interdimensionals or non terrestrials, okay? And yes, these are the benevolent galactic ETs that work with the White Dragon Society. So the Alliance, that's another terminology used to describe those that are opposing the NWO cabal. The antithesis of the Illuminati are the Alliance, the Earth Alliance. And again, even throughout medieval times, guys, guess who the Alliance was during the Dark Ages? They were the Knights Templars. The Knights Templars were the Alliance during medieval times, right? Before them, it was the Holy Order of the Grail, the Order of the White Blue Rose. Before them, it was the Essenes. The Essenes, the Druids and the Celtics, and those that preserve the spiritual teachings of the ancient mystery schools. They were always around, right? They were the guardians and protectors of ancient wisdom. They were the guardians and protectors of the sovereign state republic. They've always been around. So I'm just looking for questions here. Yeah, I also heard that the Queen of the Philippines is working with the alliance. Absolutely. Okay, Julie Casey is asking, what will the solar flash do? Very good question. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably thinking the same. Well, for one, it is going to activate dormant genetics, right? It is proven by science that we've only been using about 3 to 4% of our full genetic structure. So, one of the main things that the CMEs, the gamma ray frequencies that are coming in via our sun into our bodies, is the activation of dormant genetics. And this is one of the reasons why the cabal has been conducting geoengineering, cloud seeding, and all kinds of malicious things. They're trying to prevent this day from happening because they know that this day was going to come. They had access to the secret prophecies. Okay. Secondly, it's also going to act as a timeline split. It's going to be a bifurcation where those that are resonant to the positive New Earth timeline are going to shift away further from the technocratic dystopia from those that are not resonant with the positive Earth timeline. And there are going to be two positive Earth timelines. There's going to be the fourth D Earth, and then there's going to be the fifth D Earth. Okay. And then third of all, another thing that solar flash is going to do, it is going to completely dissolve the dark forces on this planet. And that's going to be indicated or realized in the positive Earth timeline. That's where that's going to be known. So that's what the solar flash is going to do. It is a prophetic event that has happened. That happens every 26,000 years or so. And it is a recurring event, right? It is the catalyst that propels a civilization that is ending the dark ages into a golden age. Into a golden age. Cosmic Zeal says, I slept a lot this morning. Well, you're not the only one. Let's see. Kathleen, thank you so much for the super chat. Kathleen says, I thought Kennedy's assassination was fake and that Kennedy's still alive. Well, you must, okay, so the assassination, okay, it was orchestrated by the deep state. However, due to the temporal triple alliance, the White Hats with John Trump and Nikola Tesla were able to time travel days in advance to spare his life, and then provide a duplicate. All right, a duplicate of him. So the real JF Kennedy survived. Okay, but this doesn't negate the fact that the orders to eliminate him came from the Black Pope, Peter Vance Kolvenbach, and they rippled all throughout, the three-letter agencies and the secret society networks. Okay, so this doesn't negate the fact that the Dark Hats were literally trying to eliminate him. It's just that what happened is due to the triple temporal alliance, the White Hats were already conducting time travel since the 1920s, and so they were able to save the real Kennedy. Okay, so that is the truth of the matter. The real Kennedy was spared due to the triple temporal alliance. Now, for those that are new to my channel, about a year ago, I actually did a whole live on the Triple Temporal Alliance. It's under the name of Secret Technology by Nikola Tesla. That is the title of that video. I would suggest you guys watch that video. It is mind-blowing, okay? I reveal how the Triple Temporal Alliance is the reason they're called the Triple Temporal Alliance is because they're operating from all three, from the future, from the past, and in the present moment, right? They're operating in all three stages of the time space continuum from the future, from the past, and in the present, okay? To the point where they were even able to travel back in time over 2,000 years ago and meet with John the Revelator in the island of Patmos. So John the Revelator was able to write two books of the apocalypse. One was the book of Revelation, and the other one was called the book of Q. Now, the book of Q is another book, one of many books that was left out of the Bible that is also going to be revealed. Okay. Ishmael, when did Jesus really die? Ascend during Easter? This is a question from Patricia. Patricia Sacha. Welcome, Patricia. Well, I strongly believe in the crucifixion. I believe that he was crucified. All right, but everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Some people speculate that there could have been three Jesuses, right? Joshua 12, Joshua 9, and Joshua 6, right? And that the real Jesus was actually spared, and the second Jesus was crucified, and that the real Jesus actually lived a long life, lived to be over 100, went to India. But again, this is based on the works of the idea that there were three Jesuses is based on the work of what's her name? I'm drawing a blank. um, hold on one second. Let me see if I could get her name. This is based on the work of Ashayana Dean. Ashayana Dean is the one who talked about the three Jesuses, Joshua 12, Joshua 9, and Joshua 6. But again, I also heard that towards the end of her mission, she was hijacked by the dark forces. So I don't know, but I do know that there was a crucifixion, right? That Jesus was crucified in order to demonstrate the resurrection. That I do know, guys. Okay, that I do know. I do have another super chat from Diana Molina. Welcome, Diana Molina. How you doing, sister? She says, "Who is the Alliance?" The Alliance is an international effort of military intelligence agencies that are working to dismantle the deep state, the globalists, the NWO, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. They are the antithesis of the Dark Brotherhood. They are the ones that are here to liberate the earth from the corruption and persecution of the Babylonian networks. That's who the Alliance is. And again, as revealed in my book, The Secret Government, I don't have it behind me, but if you guys get my book, The Secret Government, available on Amazon, it's all there, guys. The true history of the Alliance going back to Abraham, Jacob, King David, and Solomon, right? They are the Alliance, and their descendants today are the Alliance. So that's who they are. They are the good guys. April 1st is New Year's Day, the real one. This is, yeah, I heard that that's true. I heard that the real first of the year is April 1st. April Fools, right? Yeah, I agree with that. I believe that the reason we don't see it as the first of the year is because we've been operating under a wrong timekeeping system known as the Gregorian calendar, which is a false timekeeping system, right? The real calendar, the sacred calendar, has 13 months and 28 days. Very, very true. Thank you, Tony. Tony, for the super chat for the number one. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Can you say anything about the Danish prime minister who says peace is worse than war? I hope you guys could hear me. Let me see. Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. I just want to make sure that my volume is all the way up. Oh, there we go. Okay. So if you guys could hear me, we're good. Um, can you say anything about the Danish prime minister who says peace is worse than war? Well, by saying that, obviously the guy is not with the alliance. The guy's working with the deep state, right? The cabal. So, um, yeah, that's not a very good thing to say, right? Because it's all about peace. It's all about harmony. It's all about living in cooperation, which is the agenda, which is something that the White Hats, or what we call the alliance, has tried to implement all throughout history. Okay, guys, we have witnessed moments of light, golden eras, when the alliance or the Y hats, whatever you want to call them, the brotherhood and sisterhood of light, have actually been able to implement, and execute such beautiful eras. And then, of course, the dark brotherhood, right? Babylon always comes after them to try to destroy anything that is in harmony in order to bring forth world domination. All right. But the dark brotherhood, they know that their time is up. They know that their time is up. Kentucky Pride says March 25th is the real Christmas. Well, if that's the case, Christmas is in 5 days. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, you could be right. You could be right because think about it. The December 25th is a pagan holiday, right? What did the Roman Empire do? They just took the old ancient Saturnalia, paganism, and they just readopted or integrated it with Christianity, right? Go figure, right? Why do people celebrate Christmas on the 25th? It is a pagan holiday, right? It's a metaphor symbolizing the ending of you could say the ending of the day of the long day and the beginning of a night, or what they call the cold era. Or it's a metaphor, guys. It's a metaphor. But yeah, it's taken and borrowed from ancient pagan rituals. Okay, that's why I never really saw Christmas the way most people see Christmas. It is a pagan holiday when you really think about it. All right, so you guys are saying you guys could hear me loud and clear. Well, that's good to know. Thank you. Thank you. What time we are in the portal open the 21st? What time we are in the portal open the 21st? Are you talking about the solstice, the spring equinox, which is going to be on the 21st, which is tomorrow? Um, oh yeah, that's tomorrow. Huh? Oh, by the way, so you guys do want me to post my presentation that I did at the Conscious Life Expo, right? All right. Um, all right, I'm going to go ahead and post it for you guys. It is about an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to post it for tomorrow night. And if you guys could do me a favor, if I post it, because this is a presentation that people actually paid to hear me speak about. But if you guys could, if you can't, I understand. If you guys could just donate a $5, if you guys like my presentation, just donate $5 to my main page, to the link that I provided for my Zelle. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and post it for tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. My full presentation that I did at the Conscious Life Expo. Oh, I got another super chat from Gemini Moon. Wow, that is very generous of you, sister. Thank you, thank you. She says, I thought when we became crystal DNA and we get healed completely, the poison will no longer hurt us. You must be talking about the stuff that they put in people's bodies. Um, why do we need? Yeah, why do we need medbeds? Just curious. Well, like I mentioned before, if you ascend into the fifth dimensional Earth, you won't need any external modalities. You're going to be naturally healed, right? Because your body's going to into crystalline structure. However, for those that don't make it into the fifth year earth and go into the fourth year earth, because we are not skipping the fourth year earth, right? A good chunk of the world population, which are what I call the newbie souls, those that are evolving from bottom up, are going into the fourth year earth. They will be depending on external technologies, yes. But for those that go into the fifth year earth, which is just a few million people, let's just say there's a small percentage of old souls in the planet, and I believe a lot of you guys are here on the chat. So you don't have to worry about going to the fourth year earth. You're going to be healed instantaneously when the solar flash activates your dormant crystalline genetics. But that's a very good question. No, in the fifth dimensional earth, we do not need any external nothing. It is a natural process. All right. Your bodies are just going to modify and you're going to be just in perfect health. And not to mention, you're going to be regenerating back to what you look like when you were 30 years old. So for some of you guys that are 80 here on my chat, I know I have a lot of people that follow me that are in their 70s and 80s. You guys are going to look young again. That's if you go into the fifth year, okay? All righty, more questions. Are we still in 2012 at the present? It looks like we are because the difference between the Mayan calendar, which was, again, a calendar that is aligned with the natural cycles of the universe and the earth, and the Gregorian calendar, it's about a 14-year difference. So 2012 and 2025, that's a 13, 14-year difference. So yeah, we could say that we're about in the year 2012, technically. So that explains why everything's going to hit the fan this year. Think about it, right? The releasing of the documents, the first stage of the solar flash, offering us the opportunity to ascend into the 50 Earth. And by the way, if you do ascend this April into the 50 Earth, that does not mean you're not going to have access to this reality. You're going to be able to pop back into this reality at will. You're just going to have ascended abilities. Okay, there's the difference. You guys are so funny as I'm reading the chat. Thank you, Stacy Brown, for that donation. She says, "Thanks. You're welcome, Stacy." Cheryl, is it Wait is asking, are we still having the EBS? I believe so, yes, but it's not going to be a lockdown. All right, it's only going to be a lockdown, of course, if the cabal conducts any false flags attempts or tries to really start the Third World War, and then that's when the Earth Military Alliance will lock everything down and put an end to that from happening. And not to mention, we are in the event that the cabal tries to initiate the Third World War, the Galactics will be making an appearance. So they will intervene. Okay, so by I guess virtue of that, yes, we will have a lockdown. But if that doesn't happen, if Trump manages to establish world peace, then no, it's not going to be a lockdown. It's just going to be an open EBS. All right, I've already mentioned that a couple weeks ago, or a couple lives ago, actually. No, I don't know. I don't have any news on Fort Knox. Good question, Sandy Kuzma. But as soon as I find out what's going on with Fort Knox, well, I don't know if you guys knew, but I did mention it 2 weeks ago that they have found no gold at Fort Knox. No gold at Fort Knox. Thank you guys. I know it looks like I'm at a cabin in a cabin, huh? You guys like the background. It does look like a cabin, doesn't it? Let's see. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Thank you for that wonderful donation, sister. Just wanted to thank you and tell you how much you are appreciated. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And again, on my main page in the description, if you scroll all the way down, for those that want to support my mission and my cause, I do provide an email that goes direct. It's like a Zelle. If you guys have Zelle, you guys could support my cause. I provide my email for that. It's time to celebrate good times, says Julie Casey. Perhaps we were born for a time such as this. Yeah, you all volunteered. You all volunteered to be here at this time. So the answer to that is yeah. What is Zelle? Zelle is kind of like PayPal, except they don't take money out of that. It goes directly into my account. So that's what Zelle is. It's like a PayPal. What is my mission? Well, my mission is to bring information. My mission is to bring the next level of disclosure, pretty much doing what I'm doing, sharing information, writing, books, and bringing as much knowledge to as many people as possible. So that's my mission. My mission is as an educator of the truth, not just regarding what's happening here in our world, but also what's happening in the entire cosmos. And that's my mission. To help initiate first contact, to prepare humanity for initiation into the galactic community. I mean, that's all part of my mission, guys. That's all part of my mission. So that is my mission. No, the reason I put a Zelle, which is like a PayPal, is because I do read the comments, and sometimes people ask me, Ishmael, I want to help you. Where can I, help you out? And it's like, all right, fine. For those that want to help, I do have a Zelle in my main page description. Go if you scroll all the way down. Okay, Tammy Pierce, thank you so much. She says, why did they not talk about Kennedy being alive? Thank you for your service. You always give me hope. Very good question, Tammy. The reason being is because they have to wait until they completely bring about the disclosure, eliminate even the actors, right? As the originals were already taken to Gitmo. And then they're going to tell people the truth about how the Y Hats were actually ahead of the game before their time and how they used time travel to secure a lot of people, including Princess Diana. Okay, and also, of course, Mr. T, because in other probable timelines and different in other Earth realities, what do they call it? Alternative Earth realities? They do assassinate Mr. Trump. Okay, they did assassinate him in several other probable timelines. So that's the reason why they haven't disclosed the truth about Kennedy, the real senior being alive, is because they do it in order to protect his true identity. Okay, until the time is right, then they will. Then he's going to show himself to the world. And yes, he's been using medbed technology to keep looking healthy and stuff. And I don't know how old he is now, 110, 109. He's old, but he's still okay. He's doing all right. Good question though, Tammy. No, I don't have Bevmo. I only have Zelle. It's very simple. If you guys download the Zelle account, it's very simple. It's actually better than Bevmo and better than PayPal because they don't take any fees. You know, so that spells Z as in zebra, ELLE. All righty. As we continue with questions, about 10 more minutes, guys, of Q&A. 10 more minutes of Q&A. So who's got questions for me? Ish, is the Carrington effect part of the solar flash? Well, that's what scientists call the solar flash. They call it a Carrington event, which was an event that took place in 1871 that actually took out the telegram. And if there was a grid back then in 1871, it would definitely take out the grid, right? Lights out, right? No power, no electricity, no nothing. So one of the things that the White Hats have been doing with Starlink is that they've actually been preparing for such an event where they use quantum energy to power up the grid in the event that we do have some sort of a Carrington event. Okay, so yeah, the White Hats are on it. No, you could also sell just by providing an email link in the name. So you have my email, my name, Ishmael Perez. So you could Zelle either or, not just a phone number, also with just the email and the name. And I guess, I'm going to go ahead and upload my presentation that I did at the Conscious Live Expo. It's going to be featured, let's say tomorrow at 6 p.m. Right? Okay. So I'll go ahead and do that after this live. And yeah, I'll take a few more questions. Yes, I am aware that Canada is divided. Well, the alliance is pushing for the removal of that new prime minister, which is of course cabal run. He's another puppet of a cabal, worse than Trudeau, if you ask me. It seems like they replaced one guy with another worser guy, you know. But there is an endeavor by the alliance to clean and you could say eliminate all of the cabal players worldwide. Info on Spain. I don't know what's going on with Spain. I mean, I should. That's where my grandparents came from, but I don't know what's going on currently in Spain. Yes, I think everyone should read the Book of Q. Yeah, I mean that book is very synonymous to the Book of Revelation or the Apocalypse, which is the last book of the Bible. But it goes more into detail regarding President Trump and Putin, and and the alliance working together to dismantle the globalists, the NWO. Tony Alonzo, thank you so much for that super chat, brother. I appreciate that. Ishmael, do you have a cold? If so, get well. No, I don't have a cold actually, but thank you for asking. I'm good. I might be a little stuffy, but I don't have a cold. I don't have a cold. And by the way, Tony, big shout out to you. Thank you for that big donation, brother. Thank you. Stacy Brown, thank you so much for your sweet donation as well. No, I just have a stuffy nose. No cold here, guys. No cold here. Just a stuffy nose. Oh, I could have a little allergies. I actually get the allergies right around springtime. So that could be I could be in the beginning stages of getting allergies. So that's another thing why I look like I have a cold, but I don't have a cold, guys. What is the purpose of the fake rescue of astronauts? No, that wasn't a fake rescue. That was a real rescue conducted by Solar Warden. which is the positive military branch of the U.S. Navy that is operating in outer space. For those that didn't know about the secret space program, we have benevolent factions and malevolent factions. Well, the malevolent factions have been dealt with since 2016 and up until the present. But we do have a strong space military group called Solar Warden that has been acting as an interplanetary and stellar police force along with the Galactic Alliance all throughout the Milky Way galaxy. And yes, they were built out in secret by our own Navy. So, so space is not fake for those flat earthers. You know, it's real. You know, outer space is real. We are one of trillions of worlds revolving around a star, one of billions of stars just within the Milky Way, and there are billions of galaxies just within the known universe. And then there's different layers to the cosmos, right? There's different layers. And for those that are taking my cosmic origin class, you guys are going to be mind blown this Saturday as I break down. I'm going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation, which you guys are going to have access to as I share my screen. Oh, I'm going to be breaking down the entire interdimensional councils, the commanders, the different levels of advanced space age civilizations, the DNA that they use, and all their features. It's going to be mind blowing. How do they have food? Are you talking about in space? This is a question from Bill Stick. Well, they use replicators. They use replicators, which is a type of device that is connected to zero point energy. And all you do is just, it's like 3D printing on steroids. You just type in what you want. I want a steak, sizzling steak with veggies and a chocolate cake. And within a minute, you'll have your sizzling steak with veggies and a chocolate cake. They're called replicators. Yeah, that's how they have food up in space. They use replicators. They don't need a cook. Now that's a technology that probably some of you want, right? I want a house replicator. Boom! I want my house to be this long, this much square yards, and how many rooms and bathrooms. And within minutes, you will have your house if you had a replicator. Now, in Star Trek, I believe, and one of the sci-fi movies, the other one's called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they do demonstrate what a replicator is. All right. So when you watch these sci-fi movies or shows, they're telling you the truth of some of the technologies being used by what I call a civilization of a type 1, level 1, and type 2, level 2. Yeah, here on the Earth, we're like type 0 compared to the advanced civilizations out in the multiverse. I do have another super chat from Stacy Klein. Thank you so much. Was Jesus a Palladian? Good question. Um, I believe he was more of a Syrian. He was a Syrian Lyrian, descendant of the original House of Lyra, but I believe he came to us from Sirius, Sirius. He was a Syrian advanced being from the great blue star, right, known as Sirius B, the brightest blue star in our universe. That's where Jesus came from. Replicators for food and houses. This would save us so much time. Well, that's how they do it up in space, guys. All right, one more question. One more question. Let's see. Monica, Child of God, says, I am ready for the multiverse. Now, I am going to have a surprise on Saturday regarding my courses. For those that have not taken my class, I'm going to be putting up my April classes, not tonight, but in a few more days. So on Saturday, I have a surprise for some of you. Let's see, one more question. Don't forget Letitia's super chat. Oh, there it is. Final question from Leticia Ayala Flores. Welcome, Leticia Ayala Flores. She says, so then we pop back and will be seen as physical humans or look different. Yes. Also, physicality, matter, exists all the way up to the 11th dimension. Beyond the, no, I'm sorry, the 10th dimension. Beyond the 10th dimension, there is no matter. It's what we call plasma. Okay, so there's different grades of matter. Of course, as we move up in frequency, matter becomes more refined and less dense, but matter exists all the way up to the eighth, ninth dimension. After the ninth dimension, we become liquid plasma beings. Yeah, 10, 11, and 12 is liquid plasma. All right, Galactic Jedis, may the Force be with you all, and I will see you guys for the surprise on Saturday night. All right, may the God Force be with you all. We'll see you guys then.